And so get in this position where your ankles are kind of coming closer to your body. If you have a blanket, an extra blanket or a block, you can always rest the blocks or even the blankets under the knees. Bring your hands to prayer as you bow the chin and bow the brain. Pause for a moment. Never underestimate the power of your own pause. And possibly set your intention for your practice, maybe a personal goal or maybe dedicating your practice to someone you love. And let's just go ahead and take one more full breath. And release your fingertips down to the floor. Let's go ahead and switch the position of your ankles. So take whatever ankle's in front and move it to the back. And now we're going to take the fingertips to the floor. We're going to inhale, circle your arms up, and watch your hands as they press together. Maybe soften through the elbows, drop the shoulder blades down, and float the hands down to the heart center, and even drop the hands low. Good. Fingertips to the ground. Inhale, sweep your arm up. Think of your spine just really getting long and tall. Press your hands together. And as you exhale, draw the shoulder blades down. Press the hands down into your heart, stretching through the wrist and the forearms. And just one more time, fingertips down to the floor. Inhale, circle up, lengthening through your torso, pressing your hands together and drawing them down to the heart center. Good, now take the fingertips slightly in front of the chin. The shin, I said chin, but shin, right? You're gonna walk the fingers out just a bit. So there's not a big deep forward fold here. I want you to keep the belly firm and keep the back long and straight. So we're not rounding, but we're cupping the fingers and they're grounding. I'm just, like maybe 4 or 5 inches away from my foot, so not very much. But we will do a seated cat-cow here. So start out with the cow. Lift the chest, extend through your spine and look slightly up. And as you exhale, tuck the chin in, pull the belly in and round the back, opening up your shoulder blades. Then slowly roll from your tailbone. Start to pull the belly in, lift the rib cage, the sternum, and lift up, looking through the chest. So really think of that whole chest lifting. As you exhale, keep the fingers grounded, tuck the chin in, pull the belly in. You're tucking the tailbone a little bit down as you round the back body, opening up those shoulder blades. And just one more time, inhale. Remember, it's the pausing and it's the slowing down. We're slowing down here, being a little more mindful. We're leaning slightly forward, feeling that stretch into the hips. And as you exhale, pull that navel in, tuck the chin in, start to pull the belly towards the spine as you round. Good. Then inhale, come all the way back up, lifting through the chest, the heart, and the crown of your head. Good. Walking the fingers forward. Let's switch the ankles one more time. Okay, so we're going to come into a seated side bend. So fingertips on either side of your hips. We're going to take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, I'm going to have you reach that left arm up. And go ahead and walk your fingertips slightly out and bend the elbow. Oh boy, we want to really keep this opposite hip down. So take the hand behind the back of your head. So maybe just the fingertips, and rotate that shoulder back. Just start to rotate it back. Open up the shoulder. Take an inhale as you exhale. Tuck the chin in and round and rotate the chest towards the floor. Then inhale, open the elbow back. Start to lift up through the chest. Maybe even look a little behind you. And now exhale, take your gaze towards the floor, round the shoulder and look down to your mat. And then one more time. Inhale, draw the elbow back. Start to create this nice space opening in through the shoulder and the chest. And then reach your hand behind you. Now what I'm going to have you do is flex your hand. So it's like a wrist stretch. So flex and spread the fingers really wide. Go ahead and again bend this right elbow, but take your gaze out to the hand. Good. Now move into your breath, just for a couple of rounds of breath. Very nice. And then release that hand. Good. Back to the floor. Now we're going to take this left hand and we're going to wrap it around the back. So grab the wrist, so you can grab the wrist, and I'm pulling this left arm across my mid-back. You can interlock your fingers or you can hold onto the hand or wrist, however feels the most comfortable for you. If you're interlocking the fingers, press the palms together and draw the elbow back. Now we're going to inhale, lift the chin and look up. And now exhale, slowly draw a line with your nose as you drop the chin down and pause. Good. Take the head back to center. And now drop your left ear to the left shoulder. Just pause. Take a breath. And then draw the chin back to center. Take an inhale. As you exhale, drop the ear to the opposite shoulder, this right shoulder, and hold. And we want to really create space in the neck. We want to slide the shoulders down but still lift through the sternum. Very good. Take another full breath. And then bring the head back to center. Take your interlocked fingers behind your back. And just start to lift up through the chest. And again, if you want, you can grab one wrist or the other wrist. You don't have to do the interlocked fingers, but draw the shoulder blades together. Lift up through the chest. And take a full deep breath. Take one more full breath into the lower lobes of the lungs. And now release your hands, and now just shake out your hands. Shake them out. Yeah, really good for the wrists. Kind of flop them around, shake them sideways, shake them around. Have fun with it. Maybe circle them, right? So this is really actually, in yoga, this is really good to get rid of that stress, right? It's kind of a stress buster. So it kind of gives you a chance to get rid of the stress hormones, all right? So just one more time, and then bring the fingertips down. Now they might feel a little tingly. You're gonna take the front ankle. Let's move it back. Just wanna switch hips, right? And legs. So now we're gonna bring the fingertips to the floor. You're gonna inhale, reach your right arm up. Start to walk the left fingertips out. I'm cupping my fingertips, and I can slightly bend that elbow. Start to reach through the fingers, but take another full breath and take those fingers now behind the back of your head. See if you can make sure that elbow is maybe drawing a little bit back. So we're going to inhale and open the shoulder, the chest. And we're going to maybe look slightly back. And as you exhale, you're going to round the shoulder. Open up the shoulder blades and look towards the floor. So stay cupped on those fingers. Take an inhale, open the chest. Look behind, just to the side of you actually. And then exhale, round the back. Take your gaze to the floor and open up the back body. And one more time. Inhale, start to open the chest, the shoulder, looking behind you. Good. Take another full breath. And as you exhale, start to round the back. Last time, taking your gaze to the floor. Good. And now come all the way back up, but bring the elbow back, bend the elbow again. Come into that nice deep stretch of the torso. Now take the hand and extend it out. Here we'll get a little bit into the wrist. So I'd like you to flex your hand, draw the hand slightly back, all right? And I'm looking at my hand now. I'm feeling this a little bit in my neck, so you're going to be really cautious if you start to feel too much stress in the neck, but just take a couple more breaths. Good, keep flexing that hand, spread the fingers wide. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, bring the hand back behind your head. Very good. And then release your fingertips to the floor. Good, now we're gonna cradle the baby. That's where we take this right hand now. We're gonna wrap it around the back. So I'm gonna actually grab my wrist and help myself pull this across, all right? You can interlock your fingers, palms together and elbow out, or you can just hold on to the hand if you wish. Whatever works for you today, right? The elbow is out slightly. We're going to work through the neck again. So you're going to inhale, take your gaze up with your nose, looking to the ceiling. As you exhale, slowly draw that straight line, but take your time as you drop the chin down and being very mindful. Remember, it's those pauses in between, those holes, that we take that moment to breathe and be present. Then come all the way back up to the center. The head is centered, and then we're going to drop the ear. Let's start to the right. So drop the ear to the right. Try to create length in the opposite shoulder from the neck to the shoulder. You can close your eyes. Good, one more full breath. I know it may feel like not a lot is going on, but there really is a lot going on. And drop the ear to the opposite shoulder. All the muscles of the neck and the shoulders so intertwined. And this is just a way to really do some preventative therapy, right? Or yoga therapy. Take 2 more breaths. Very good. One more inhalation. And as you exhale, let's draw the chin back to the center. Now, interlocked fingers are coming back behind your hips, right? I'm lifting the arms up. Good. Lift the chest, come into a small back bend. Take your gaze up where the throat is slightly opening up. And the chest is broadening, right? We're opening up the pecs and the broadening through those collarbones. Take another full breath, and now release your hands, and let's just shake again. Shake it out. That's I always like to be a little silly on this, so just let it go, right? Let it go. Release any of that stress or tension, right? Get rid of it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and draw the knees up. Let's come into a tabletop position. Here we're going to do a little bit of work, and it'll be more core work, abdominal work. So you can take your blanket and bring your knees on top of that blanket. I'm going to have you flex your feet and curl your toes under. So curl the toes under, but get your knees underneath your hips and rotate the elbows out. I'd like you to really spread your fingers wide. So as you press down into your fingers, this is really good for the joints and for the hands themselves, right? So we're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to push the heels back towards the hips, towards the heels. And instead of coming all the way up, we can come up to a bent knee child's pose. So I'm still on my toes, my knees are bent, but my belly is strong. So this is where we're pulling the belly. So keep the knees super bent, but lengthen through the spine. So push the sit bones up. And relax your neck, just let go of the head. Take an inhale. As you exhale, stay on the toes. And now we're going to come into that hovering cat. So you start to drop the knees towards the floor, but I'm keeping them about an inch away from the floor. Pull the belly in strongly. Take a couple of breaths. Very good. And then drop the knees, uncurl the toes, and push back into child's pose. So you can take the forehead towards the floor. You can take the knees wide. You can also bring the arms along the sides of your legs. So the palms are facing up. And then you come into this belly breathing. So you're going to breathe in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. A small breath in through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. And one more time, inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Good. Now go ahead and walk your hands forward. Good. And we're going to slowly come back up into that tabletop position. Good. This time, curl your toes under. And let's go ahead and push into a full downward facing dog. Come all the way up. Now you can certainly keep the knees bent, especially if those hamstrings are really talking to you, they're tight. But you can go ahead and straighten the legs out, and let's just bend the right knee and keep the left heel down. Remember, we're pausing here today. We're going to pause. We're going to take a couple of breaths. Now go ahead and switch and press the opposite heel down. Notice the calf. Close your eyes if you wish to take your awareness more internal. And just one more breath. Now go ahead and bend both knees. And now we're just going to walk the hands towards the feet. I'm turning my toes out. All right, the toes can be turned. If you want to bend the knees, you can bend the knees a wee bit, all right? But we're going to stretch here. So I'm cupping my fingers. I want you to see that. And I'm going to walk both hands over to one foot. It doesn't matter which foot. Just be in a place where you can kind of see. So I've got my hands beyond my toes here. All right, so I'm going to keep, this is my left foot, and my left hand is going to stay down, but I'm going to reach my right arm up. And we call this the hippie twist. So we're getting those hips, we're getting a nice twist. Take a couple of breaths. Very good. One more inhalation. As you exhale, release the hand back down. Again, you can bend the knees if you aren't touching the floor, but use your fingertips to walk again over to the opposite foot. I'm going right in front of my toes, maybe a little bit beyond. You can keep the knees soft, or you can keep the legs straight. You're going to choose. And then I'm going to keep this is my right foot, my right hand is down, and I'm going to reach the left arm up, and you might be able to see a little bit better on this side. Good. Ooh, boy, and I'm feeling this hip. So let's take about 3 breaths. Very good. Take another full breath. Good. And now bringing the hand down, bring both hands and bring your feet now to a little bit more to a parallel position. My fingertips are still in front of my toes. And I'm going to bend the knees and forward fold. And hang the head. Take an inhale. If you like, straighten the legs. Come on those fingertips, come into a half lift. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees. Let the belly lay over the top of your quads. Let the head rest. The neck is long. Take an inhale. Come half lift. Now some of you may choose to half lift and have the hands on the shin. There's no wrong or right on this one. All right, and then bend your knees, forward fold like a rag doll. And then just one more time. Inhale, come into your half lift. Good. Exhale, bend your knees into that forward fold. Now we're going to toe heel our feet out beyond our hips. Bend your knees and come down into what we call Malasa. So you're bringing the elbows out to the side, balancing on the toes. Now remember, you can take your blanket. If this is really not so comfortable for you, you're going to take the blanket, fold it. Remember, feet can be out, knees are out, and you can rest your heels on the blanket. So the hands are to your heart, and this stretches out your lower back. So hands to the heart. And just take a few more breaths. Very good. Bring your hands behind your back and go ahead and sit down. Now you can stay seated here on the blanket or scoot off the blanket. Coming into bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. Now you're going to grab the ankles first, and as you grab the ankles, the knees drop wide, so we're stretching through the inner thighs. I want you to come a little forward, all right, and then grab the toes. So we're going to come into a balancing position with our sit bones. So the way I like to teach this is we're going to balance. We're going to bring our hand, one hand in between our legs. I'm going to push down on the floor and lift my feet up. So I'm holding onto my feet and my knees are out wide. We're still in bound angle pose, but we're lifting the feet. And I want you to think core. So pull the abdominals in. We're going to go into what's called a flying happy baby. So you're going to grab the feet and come into this flying happy baby. So we would do this on our back. Hold here. This is good abdominal work and balancing. Good. Take another deep breath. And bring the feet back together, but roll forward. And we'll come into more of a yin, we would call yin bound angle pose. Separate the feet just slightly apart from each other. So there's a little space between the feet. And you're going to lengthen again up through the spine and come into a gentle forward fold. So we can release the head, the neck. Take the gaze to the floor. Some of you may choose to leave the bottom of the feet together and come into that forward fold. Keep the spine long. Take a moment to pause and return to your breath. Take your gaze to your feet, to the floor, your drishti. Very good. Now we're going to draw the knees back together. Good. Come into a tabletop position. Curling the toes under, let's move one more time into your downward facing dog. Very good. And we'll just take a moment here, one more time. We're going to walk the feet very wide as the mat. And this time, push through the palms of the hands and come into a wide-legged down dog. And just notice how that may give you a little more freedom in the back and the spine and into the hips. And just taking 2 more breaths. Very good. Now come up onto your toes. And let's go ahead and walk the hands and feet together, coming towards the top of your mat. Now we come into a half lift. We're going to do one more balance here. You're going to toe heel your feet so they're out to the edge of the mat. Actually, I'm telling you wrong. Your heels are together and we look like Mary Poppins. You're going to bend the knees. Heels and feet together. So it's more like a frog leg. You're going to lift up. You can hold on to the blocks or you can bring your hands to your heart. Lift through the chest. We always want to challenge our balance here. It really brings that mind-body connection together. Take another full breath in and bring your hands on your blocks. And maybe down behind you as we sit down. Good work. Good. Hug the knees in. Just a little balancing. And we'll bring the feet down to the floor. Good. So we're going to take our blanket and use it again to sit on. I'd like to do a really nice twist. So we're coming into staff pose where you're going to sit on top of your blanket and extend your legs out really nice and straight. Flex your feet and bring your fingertips behind your back. So I'm again still cupping through the hands. I'm going to draw those shoulder blades together and lift up through the chest. And just take a moment to find your alignment, getting the shoulder over the hip. The legs can be straight or we can take a small bend in the knees. And we'll just come into another full breath. Let's slide the right heel in towards your hip. So draw the heel up, hold onto the shin. Again, finding that lift of the chest and the crown of the head. So I have this right foot forward. I'm going to keep my right hand on my right shin, but I'm going to reach my left arm back. So we'll get a really nice spinal twist. You're going to take an inhale. As you exhale, I'm taking this left hand and I'm wrapping it around the outside of my thigh, pulling the belly in and coming into a twist. So looking behind me. Very good. Take another cleansing breath. And now we're going to slowly unwind. And let's slide that right foot out. And now let's take the left knee, bend the knee, and draw the heel in towards your hip. Good. Sit up tall, lengthen through your spine. Really keep the opposite foot, that foot flexed. Engage into this quadricep. Now we're going to take that right arm, just reach it back, opening the chest and the shoulder. And take your gaze behind you. Take an inhale as you exhale. Start to wrap this hand around and come into a nice twist. So you're rolling that shoulder back, pulling the belly into the inner thigh, and staying tall in your posture. Now settle into the breath. Just feeling the rise and fall of the belly. Good. One more cleansing breath. And as you exhale out, we slowly unwind. Good. And now bringing both feet to the mat. We're going to slide off of our blanket. But we'll use the blanket for the next pose. So if you have a blanket like this, you'd want it folded in half, and we want to bring the fringe edges together. So it's actually what we want to do is fold it into thirds. So I'm going to fold it once and then go ahead and fold it another time. And go ahead and just keep it nice and flat. Now we're going to take it to, let's go ahead and fold it one more time. So I don't mean to make this really complicated. Let's fold it one more time. So it looks like this. We're going to use it for the next couple of poses. So have it right here, and we'll roll onto our back. And tuck those shoulder blades down. Walk your heels in towards your hips. And let's let the arms rest to your side, palms are down. We're going to keep the neck long and tuck the chin in. Let's do a couple rounds of bridging for that, just to get the back, really nice and stretched out. So we're going to inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to draw the belly in. We're going to press down into your feet and lift your hips up. As you press through the feet, we're working through the quads. The belly is strong, and we also feel those gluteus activated. Take another deep inhale. As you exhale, we'll roll down slowly, and this is control, and this is mindful. We roll slowly through the shoulder blades, rolling through the back of the rib cage, through that mid back, and now rolling gently through the sacrum, and then relaxing your hips, your legs. Good. Let's do it again. Take an inhale, tailbone drops. The hip points come up, and as you exhale, pull the navel to the spine. Press down into your feet as you lift your hips up. The chin is to the chest. Keep the belly tone firm. Take an inhale. As you exhale, slowly roll down, bone by bone, opening up and creating space in that spinal column. Keep the navel pulled in as you roll down through the mid-back and all the way down into the sacrum. This is such amazing work, and your back will be loving you for this work. So we do it one more time. Take an inhale, tailbone down. Hips are slightly up, so we create a little arch in that low back. As you exhale, we pull the belly in. We press down into the feet as you lift your hips up, and you roll a little bit more onto the top of your shoulder blades, but keep the chin tucked in towards the sternum. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's roll down this last time. And just really be aware of any tight or sticky spots that may be going on in your back. This is good information. And so now we're going to grab our blanket and do a little more restorative bridge. So you're going to lift the hips up one more time, but slide the blanket. So it's really almost to the top of the hip points. And we're going to really support the whole lower back. So make that small adjustment that you need. Rotate the palms up, keeping the chin tucked in, and maybe even dropping the knees together. So tenting the knees if that feels good for you. Maybe the knees stay straight up. And I would like you to return to your breathing, just taking a breath in for 3, 2, 1, and hold. Exhale out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take an inhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1, and hold the breath. Exhale out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Emptying the breath. And one more time, deep breath in through the nose for 3, 2, 1. And hold the breath. Exhale slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, let's go ahead and take one knee at a time into the chest. So just a small lift of the feet, stretching out the low back and hips. Good. Just pausing for this moment. Being with yourself, your body, being present. Bring the arms into a T. Bring the knees a little bit more up and rock the tailbone slightly down. All right, we're going to bring the feet down to the floor and gently roll to the side, pushing up. We're running out of time. So we're going to take that folded blanket that you have. Keep it in that long position where it's in thirds, and we'll finish off our class. Now I find that sometimes with this blanket you can curl the top, and some of you may like that where it's like a little pillow for your neck, but you want to bring your low back up against the end. All right, and then you're going to roll back down and have this little support for the neck. So bringing the arms back out into a T. The tailbone is down, so there's a little bit of lower back rounding where the tailbone is dropped and the sit bones are dropped to the floor. So those are touching. Now we can take the arms back into a T and just do a little windshield wiper, so side to side. It's not a big windshield wiper, it's just a little sway here of the knees. I'm just moving a little bit through the low back and the hips. And just that little bit of movement here side to side. Doing it one more time on each side. Now pause here to the center. We're going to send your legs out, and maybe the feet can be out as wide as the mat. The knees are rolled open, and the arms can rest a little bit away from your hips. Now close your eyes and come into some breath work. This is really good breath work if you've had a really stressful day, stressful week. You know, this is our time, our Thursday chill and unwind evening. So this is, we want to breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding. Exhale out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pause. Take an inhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, holding the breath. Exhaling slowly for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale, this time changing it for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold the breath. The breath is hovering for 2 counts. Exhale out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Pull the belly and push more air out and feel the hollow space, holding for 1, 2. Inhale last time for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 2 and 1. Exhale out for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Hollowing out, point, 2, 1. And hold for 2 counts. Take a big, deep inhale out. And that long, slow exhale. Start to wiggle the toes and the fingers. Give yourself a big hug. Rock gently side to side. And when you're ready, you're going to roll into that embryo position. Just pausing here for a moment. Knees. Good, no hurry. Just rest. Push through the hands and let the head and the neck be the last thing to come up. Come into easy cross-legged position. Bring your hands to your heart. Bow your chin and bow the mind. And give yourself a pat on the back for slowing down, focusing on yourself, and practicing our healing yoga. The light in me salutes that light and that divine in you. And together we say, Namaste. Thanks you guys for joining me tonight.